Good day to all Inderes TV listeners and viewers. Enento publishes Q2 results today, and on this video we will discuss that and some other topics as well with the interim CEO Elina Stråhlman. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Elina, if we could start the video, if you could go through on a general level Enento's highlights and challenges in Q2.
Yes, starting from the highlights, so I would definitely raise the infrastructure consolidation completion as one of the key highlights. We successfully migrated our operations in Finland and Sweden during Q2 after a long project, and we had limited impacts to our customers. So overall, we can feel happy about that completion. Another thing that I want to mention is the introduction of new services within compliance in Sweden. We have launched new innovative services within the field according to our strategy. Those are available via our online distribution channels, which also is part of our journey in expanding our position in the Swedish business information markets. And as said, the services are unique, are raising good traction within our customers, and important part of our strategy execution as such. Then, of course, what comes to challenges, the operating environment continued to be muted, and that, of course, impacts our volumes and financial performance likewise.
If looking at the macro more in depth, we know that the trade tensions escalated in the beginning of Q2. So if you could talk about in general about the demand environment and consumer confidence in Finland and Sweden, how they developed in Q2.
Well, the consumer confidence in both countries remained low and actually turned into decline in Sweden. After that, we had already seen some positive trends in that area. So clearly, the increased uncertainty impacts the consumer confidence. We, of course, also see this impacting the business to business transactions likewise, and companies are clearly postponing their investments. We do not have direct impacts of these trade wars as such, but of course then all the economic transactions impact our volumes, both in consumer insight and business insight. And thus we naturally have indirect impacts on this situation in our business as well.
In Sweden, consumer information services, we have already seen in the previous quarters growth from other than the broker segment. So can you comment whether this trend has still continued?
It has continued, but with slightly modest rates than we have seen previously, and it has been clearly impacted by the lower consumer confidence. This was, for example, clearly visible in the mortgage loan sector now in Q2, where the growth clearly stabilized from previous quarters that we have seen.
Then we could discuss the IT infrastructure project. As you mentioned, you have completed that one. So should we expect the costs related to this decrease going forward? And maybe if you could talk about the cost effects going forward as well from this.
Overall, this transition will support us mitigating the high inflation that we are seeing in IT. Also, I think not only us, but many companies are seeing high cost increases in the IT landscape. So this is an important milestone to also offset the high inflation and overall provide further efficiencies as well going forward when we now have IT infrastructure with one vendor, with one Nordic operations platform available.
Then about the SME transformation, business transformation in Sweden. So how did that progress in Q2 and did it have any effects on the numbers yet at this stage?
It is progressing. We have been building the capabilities on the product side to be able to transform the services from manual continuous process to evergreen subscriptions. So overall, the progress has been good on that sense. It hasn't yet impacted our financials, but now we can expect expect that there can be some risks realizing in H2 when the transition moves forward. We will start testing the transition in the subscriptions with smaller batches now in Q3, and of course then move forward according to the experiences that we get in Q3.
Then about the financial targets, you updated those with the Q2 results. So you kept the metrics the same,
Yes.
but the target period is kind of taken away.
Yeah.
So could you elaborate your thoughts on this? And is it safe to assume that you're not expecting to reach the targets anytime soon?
Well, of course, it's clear that we cannot expect to reach the targets in 26. We continue to be in very challenging operating environment. Also, the regulatory environment continues to be challenging, and the prerequisite for good growth is also, of course, also some positive macro environment in our main markets as such. However, we continue to have very good growth opportunities. We have talked a lot about compliance. We see a lot of opportunities there in all markets, but especially in Sweden. We have unique services just launched. We continue to see a lot of opportunities overall in the business information side in Sweden, and then in consumer insight fraud prevention is a hot topic in all our markets. So we continue to have a lot of opportunities for scalable growth going forward, and also on the efficiencies and profitability side, we do have untapped potential there as well. Of course, the Swedish SME business transformation is aiming to increase our sales efficiencies, improve profitability. But then, of course, within the IT landscape as well, we are continuously looking into further opportunities, to mention few topics.
In Q2, we saw also some big ownership changes. So Otava bought the stake of Mandatumin in Enento. So of course it is hard for you to comment on behalf of Otava, but in general, if you could give any comments about Otava as an owner, what their interests might be in Enento.
Well, of course, we are very happy about the trust that Otava has shown in us by increasing their ownership share further. But naturally, we cannot comment on their plans as such. What we can say from Enento perspective is that our strategy continues to be valid, and as such just mentioned, we continue to have good growth and efficiency opportunities going forward as well.
We also saw some changes in the management team. The previous CEO has left the position, and you are now working as interim CEO. So maybe if looking at your interim CEO period, so what do you need to do in order to be happy with the period?
Well, of course, the key thing is to continue with the strategy execution. The strategy continues to be valid, and we are focusing on commercialization of the new opportunities, especially in the Swedish markets. And then we, at the same time, key strategic project is also the transformation of the SME business in Sweden. So obviously the key thing is to continue to execute on the strategy successfully. And then at the same time, of course, we continue to keep finances overall in good control.
Thank you, Elina, and I hope you a good interim CEO period.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.